What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the start of Season 2 here in our Road to Glory career mode. Obviously, if you missed last episode, go back and check it out. It was uploaded yesterday, and we actually finished off Season 1 and gained promotion to League 1 itself. So do check it out if you missed it, but if you haven't, then welcome to Season 2. We have got some big things to show you today, including that message right there that just popped up very briefly on your screen. We sent out a new scout to find a future star. We'll see what he comes back with in due course. But also, there's a few other things that I should also mention. The budget this season, it's a very respectable budget given to us by Grimsby's board. Don't know how on earth they've managed to get it together, but we've got about £3.5 million in total to spend, which obviously, as much as I don't want to be using all the cash we've got because we need it for like youth players and youth scouts and all that stuff, I will be looking to bring in some players. And although I do want to use our youth academy as much as possible for the series, I'm also looking to bring in a couple of players as well. Now, there was one player in particular that was suggested previously. Goes by the name Harry Clifton. There was a comment a while ago talking about how he's a Grimsby lad, one of their own basically, and it popped up again yesterday's video. Now you will remember I did actually shortlist him previously. The reason I didn't sign him previously though was because he was actually just left. He'd gone to one of the Chinese teams and he'd only just joined them, so I couldn't actually make the deal happen. But I decided that with the first thing that we possibly can do in this team in League 1, we've got to bring him in. If he's a Grimsby lad, we have to bring him back. I don't know if he's going to play a massive part for us. I'll certainly get him involved in some of the other competitions, the cup competitions and such. But I don't know if he's going to play a massive part in League 1 football. But he'll certainly come in and actually make an appearance in the cups and such. So Harry Clifton became our first signing of League 1 life. Taking a look at the current youth academy, the players that are still in there. Now, again, I will refer back to a comment that also I got left on yesterday's episode talking about the fact that we are promoting players a little bit too soon. Their potential, allow them to grow pretty much. I understand that, but at the same time, I wanted to get them into the team because I want to use them. I want this to be authentic. So, like these guys here, the rest of the players that are in my youth academy right now, I'm going to leave until I get a message telling me they want out because I don't feel like if I promote them straight up now, they're going to come straight into the team and make much of a difference. So I'm going to let them have as much time as possible growing in our youth academy, and then when the message pops up to obviously promote them or they'll leave the club, that's when I'll do the promotion. So I hear what you're saying, but that is the reason why I was promoting players as and when I was. Now, the first thing that I always seem to forget to have to do when a new season rolls around is check my contracts. Make sure the players that we are getting onto a year left on their deal, we're signing new contracts. Arsenal, you can learn a thing or two from what I do here because it's, as an Arsenal fan, obviously, on the channel, for anybody who's new here, I do support Arsenal. We have, over the years, not been great at making sure players have contracts that don't expire and letting them run down. So the first thing I had to do was go ahead and make sure that everybody who I needed to re-sign had pretty much re-signed. So we did that. The frustrating thing is Ross Sykes' contract I messed up on. I meant to give him another 2-year contract, and I actually ended up accepting a 1-year deal. So it basically makes no change whatsoever to his current contract because he's just still here for the year. So in January, I'm going to have to remember to go back and offer him a new deal that keeps me here even longer. Now, in this window, the first thing as well that I was trying to do was get rid of dead weight. Get rid of players that I just didn't care about, that I wasn't going to be using. Now, Robles is an exception to that. Originally, I wasn't going to sell him. But then I saw the fact that he didn't have the longest time left on his contract. So rather than giving these guys a new deal, I just felt like getting rid of them would have been the best outcome. Yes, he did very well at the start of the series for us. He was a bit of a hero at the beginning, couple of episodes. But then he didn't really feature again after that. And I just don't think that for League 1 football, he's going to be good enough to play a part. So a lot of the players that you might have been seeing feature for us in the earlier parts of this series, back in episode 1, episode 2, they might well be leaving in this episode here. So please bear in mind who goes, who stays. I will show you a full list of this one. And if I do sell a player that you guys like and a player that you're going to get frustrated with me for selling, I apologize in advance. But of course, now we're playing League 1 football, we need to have the better type of players in the club. So a lot of the guys that I did sell were more or less due to reasons that I felt we already either had A, better players at the club, or B, I just didn't see a future with them, i.e. they were too old or they just weren't good enough in terms of potential for me to keep hold of them. So a lot of the guys I'm selling, Vernam's gone, Robles we were about to sell, we have Whitehouse which we accepted a transfer offer for, Cook here as well, another one of the centre midfielders, 29 I think he is, 61 rated. Not a bad rating, but again, when you've got Ethan Shaw, you've got Ethan Cox, you've got Patterson on the bench struggling to get a game as well. These guys are all better players, so the chances are that they're just not going to play a game. There was one exception in there. Reece Hall-Johnson, the fullback, the right back, who was in there before Max Jackson burst onto the scene with this Grimsby Town side. I'd received quite a few offers for Reece Hall-Johnson, of which I'd gone ahead and rejected throughout the entirety of the beginning of this window. It was up until there was an offer a bit later on that I didn't really think I was going to get rid of him. And then the offer that comes in, I basically negotiated, and I just felt to myself, you know what? If this is accepted, I'll take it, and you'll see what happens, man. You'll just see what happens. It was especially when I saw this guy here. You'll see it. A right back from Switzerland, goes by the name of, is it Sukasev or something along those lines? When I saw this guy, I thought to myself, as a right back, for him to come in, obviously we have Max Jackson who's burst onto the scene. I didn't know how good Sukasev was, but when you do see him accept his contract on £1,100 a week, it turns out he's 6'4", rated 65 overall. Not a bad rating to come straight into League One football. Very quick, great stamina, got decent strength. The only thing we need to do is improve his defending, his interceptions, his stand tackling, and that sort of thing, and then he will be an unbelievable defender. 3-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves, can play right back, right midfield, but because he's 6'4", I'm playing him at centre-back, ladies and gentlemen. I am not going to move Max Jackson out of the side. He is going to keep that place at right-back, and Sukasev will play centre-back alongside big Ross Sykes. So now we've got a 6'4" right-back playing centre-back and a 6'6" defender in centre-back alongside that in Ross Sykes. So a very tall, very strong, hopefully very physical sort of backline. I'm hoping that it's going to work wonders for us. This was the offer I was talking about. It came in 350 grand, which was a little bit over the price that they said we could actually get for him. So I thought, if they've got a bit of money, why not try and get them for every single penny that we can do? So I proposed a counter offer, 450k for Reece Hall-Johnson. Originally didn't want to let him go, but with Sukasev coming in, we've already having Max Jackson in the club. I just thought, you know what, they accept this, I'll be happy. They went ahead and said they'd pay that much money for him, and eventually the full deal went through and Reece Hall-Johnson left the club. 450k is what we got for him. The board giving back about 300,025 of that, so not too bad. But it was more about the fact of just kind of, I didn't need Reece Hall-Johnson as well as having Sukasev and Max Johnson. And Max Jackson, sorry. So it was one of those things where it was like, is he really going to play? Probably not. Let's get the money in for him. And the reason that that plays a part is because later on in today's episode, you guys are going to make a decision for me and for you guys at home, really. And that is the return of Ben Pringle. The man that last year played unbelievably well whilst on loan from Preston in League 2. I went ahead and I made an offer to bring him back. Now, when I show you this, it's going to be after this game right here in our debut in League One against Barnsley. But when I show you the full offer and such, I want you guys to really, really think about it. So if you've already voted on it, then you can't do anything about it now. But if you haven't already voted, please wait until that bit, because I want to explain, obviously, the pros of bringing him, the cons of bringing him in, and all that sort of side to it. But until then, guys, it is time to make our debut in League One. We finished in the semi-finals of the pre-season tour, simming our entire way through it before being knocked out on penalties. But I don't know what it was. The first side we named for this, obviously McGuinness, is pretty much the only change to our team since we've come up from League 2. And he created the first chance and the first goal as well. It just so happens that it was Shane McNeil, the man to finish it off, our young 18-year-old Scotsman winger, who was the man to finish it off. So like I said, there was only two changes from our League 2 winning side, I guess you could say. And that was Sukasev at centre-back in place of Davies. And it was also McGuinness in at left wing in place of Ben Pringle. They were the only two major changes that we made from the same side that we had in League 2. And already we got off the mark. And you'll notice I've switched around a lot of the player numbers. So, for example, McNeil is now wearing the number 7 shirt. We've got Ethan Shaw wearing number 10. Ethan Cox wearing number 8. So, yeah, you can see them all as I show you them. But it wasn't without its problems. Barnsley creating a chance, poor defensive header, and we're not going to get away with that this season. We definitely need to stop having these poor clearances, because in League 1 we will be punished for it. But then, have a look at this. Shane McNeil in that number 7 shirt comes inside, left-footed cross towards the unmarked Takefusa Kubo. And he makes it 2-0 to Grimsby Town. He's wearing number 11 as well. I think the only player pretty much to keep their same number was Sykes and Wes Thomas. And I think actually I gave McNamee number 1 as well. I spoke about that very briefly last episode about who I was going to name as our number 1, whether or not it was going to be McNamee or if it was going to be the young Scots goalkeeper. I can't remember his name. What's his surname? Jackson? Thomas? I have no idea. Can't remember off the top of my head. But anyways, yeah, so McNamee's now wearing the number 1 shirt. Obviously, a lot of changes to the team, a lot of changes to the numbers, but I feel like these guys that are playing right now deserve their number changes. Obviously, that number 7 shirt from McNeil, it has a lot of history. He's going to have to play his part. He's done it so far in scoring on our debut in League One, and that was how the game would finish. 2-0 winners, goals from McNeil and Takefusa Kubo. McNeil as well, scoring 1 and making the other. Really did show me that he has the capability to carry us forward this season, wearing that number 7 shirt. Max Jackson, transfer offer from Central Coast Mariners here, rejected instantly. It was a nice offer, actually, of £1.2 million, but I was not prepared to let our young right-back leave the club, especially when you consider he's still 16 years of age. Massive future ahead of him here at Grimsby Town. Now, this is the bit I was talking about. We went into negotiations with Preston for the signing of Ben Pringle. McGuinness just created a goal on the left-hand side. He came in for Ben Pringle. Obviously, he would have played there last season. McGuinness came in, created a goal. So I thought to myself, I'm not willing to pay any more than 400k for Ben Pringle. Instantly, they said yes. Now, I looked at this. He is 31 years of age, guys. So this is where the pros and the cons need to be weighed out, okay? 400k is basically the same price as what we got for Reece Hall-Johnson. He's 66 rated. He would be an improvement on that left-hand side in place of McGuinness. But then you have to look at McGuinness. He created a goal in the last game. Do we just give him the nod? Do we just give him the shout and play him on that left-hand side? Obviously, he has the future ahead of him. He is a much younger player than Ben Pringle is. But then again, will the experience of Ben Pringle come in to help us down the line? So this is all what we've got to think about when it comes to that signing. 400k, although it's not massive in the budget we currently have, for a League One club to spend that on a player, you wouldn't normally spend that much money for them to come in and sit on the bench. Do you know what I'm saying? So we have to think about it. But what a finish, by the way, this is from Rodney Jansen, our scout future star from Season 1. Not the greatest potential in the world, but he's showing everything that I want to see from my striker. At the back end of last season, he played 3 times. I think he got 3 assists in those games as well. He starts his first game in League One here today in place of Wes Thomas, who was very lackluster in that first game. And my goodness me, what a finish that is from Rodney Jansen. Unbelievable stuff over the top of the goalkeeper into the back of the net. So that made the game 1-0. And referring back to the Pringle transfer, there is the poll at the top right-hand side for you guys to vote on. Again, do think about the pros and cons, though. I will go into a bit more of them later on. But then we continue to pile on the pressure. Jansen's another effort there. Saved by the keeper. And this is then the little bit that maybe we got in the head of McGuinness, because he should have scored to make it 2-0. Open net. Now, he might have been seeing in the media recently that we had that deal negotiated for Pringle. We were waiting to just negotiate terms with the player. Maybe that's why he missed that chance. I don't know what it was, but maybe his head just wasn't in it. And in the second half, have a look at this. Ethan Shaw, we know he's got this in his locker. We saw it in League 2 numerous times. And our new number 10 at Grimsby Town is showing why we gave him the shirt. Now, traditionally, obviously, that number 10 was given to strikers, wingers, that type of player, but I really like my cams to have that number 10 shirt. It showcases it. Players playing in just behind the striker. I think Shaw has every capability to do that in future. And there's so many players in this Grimsby side that genuinely, I believe, will go on to be big stars in this team. I don't know who's going to be the biggest, but there are definitely a lot of them that are making waves right now in this team. So you do have to keep tabs on them. And that 2-0 win meant we got back-to-back 2-0 wins for the first 2 games of League One life. We are loving it right now. Having said that, the 2 teams we played, Barnsley, we beat them. They went on to win their second game, and Accrington lost both of their first 2. So that was obviously expected of us. McNeil climbing up to a 70 rated player. Ross Sykes actually was our skipper for the game against Accrington and also Barnsley as well. So young skipper in the side. I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference, but there is obviously the transfer of Ben Pringle. You guys make the decision. Top right-hand side of this video, there should be an I button for you guys to cast your vote on the poll. Like I said, weigh the pros and the pros and the cons up. You talk about the fact that he is 31. He is an improvement, but we've got McGuinness who looks decent. Is it enough to bring Ben Pringle into the side? There's all these things to think about, but cast your vote on the top right-hand side of this video. 400k is what we've agreed to pay him. Oh, sorry, pay his club for him, and then obviously negotiate the contract next episode based on what you guys say. If you have any suggestions you want to see, leave them down in the comment below, and I'll take a look at them. We've still got a long way to go in the transfer window, but other than that, guys, that is it for the beginning of Season 2's Episode 8. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you did enjoy it, a like would be greatly appreciated, and I will see you all again tonight with another video. Catch you all then. Adios.